What if I tell you that the future of environmental sustainability in Africa depends on how well we involve young people today? Are we truly giving the youth a seat on the table, or we are just talking about inclusion? This is the NCA podcast, and I am your host, Ken Joel. Joining me today is a very important guest that goes by the name Mr. Donald Mulimba. He is an environmental advocate as he has been seriously involved in different environmental projects that involves the youth in his country, Zambia. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. It's
Thank
a
you so
pleasure
much. Thank you so
having you.
much for having me.
Thank you. So, Mr. Molimba, can you please share with me your personal experience in the environmental space in your country, Zambia?
Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to say thank you for um, having me this particular podcast, and I hope that we'll have a very good conversation as we discuss these environmental related issues and also issues to do with active participation of youths and children. So basically, for me, I started working with young people and children in 2019. That's where I was very much involved, especially working with children in the schools, uh, educating, teaching them about climate change and also about their environmental rights. And I've also been working with young people where we have also been training them about issues of climate change, issues of transformative dialogue, and how they can be able to participate in decision making processes. So this whole thing, sums up in trying to, push the agenda of young people and also the children to be actively involved in some of these decision making processes.
I think that is really, really interesting. It just so show that you've really, really been busy for a long time now, and you're not showing any sign of retreat as of now, which is very, very good, and we really appreciate you for that. Um, can you share with us some of the trainings or the environmental education that the young people of this generation really need to grasp?
Thank you so much. Yeah, so firstly, like I did mention in my preamble, I talked about training on climate change related issues, and that climate change now is a cross-cutting issue that is affecting everyone, and it's important, that we bring children, we also bring young people on board. They need to know, how our environment, destroying our environments is bringing about issues of climate change. So that is the number one training that has been done, especially for both the youths and
Mm-hmm.
also the children. Then the other trainings has to do with the aspect of transformative dialogue, where we are training the young people, and let me just say the children and the youths in how they can participate in some of these decision making processes. We have seen many other times when decisions are made on behalf of the children and the young people. At the end of the day, they don't get to benefit, or we don't get to see the results of some of these decisions. So I think it's of particular importance that we bring these children, we bring these youths on board, so that as some of these decisions are being made, we hear information from the host, the children, and the
Mm-hmm.
youths themselves, so that as we implement or as we develop these policies, at least their voices are also put into consideration.
So, talking about the youth, what is usually the age range that you have worked with, and how are they responding to this education and knowledge transfer?
Thank you so much for that question. So for the young people or the youths, it's from 18 years and above.
Okay.
Yes, from 18 years and above. And for the children, mostly we start somewhere around 10. So 10 to 18 or 10 to
Okay.
17 years,
Okay.
18, then 18 and above, we have the youths that are participating in these trainings.
So how do they respond to this newfound education, which might be a little bit different from what is being taught in schools? How do they
Thank you.
respond to it?
Yeah, no, the response has been good so far, especially where you are looking at the young people now trying to take up these spaces in these decision making platforms. For example, when you talk about mining endeavors, we have now spots where spaces where we are bringing in young people from affected communities. They're able to bring out these issues and challenges that they're facing in the communities. We also have children also coming on board, and they're able to present some of their challenges that are affecting the children in some of these communities. So the response might have been is slow here and there, but we are slowly getting there because we are seeing even young people now trying to push themselves into these dialogue spaces for their views to be heard. Yeah,
Wow, that's really really interesting. Yeah, I think
sure.
it's good. It's good that the youth to be uh, also included or involved uh, in issues concerning climate change, because like they said, they are the future leaders of tomorrow. They are the
Exactly.
ones to continue whatever uh, we started, or whatever we took from our predecessors or from our forefathers. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it's imperative and very very important that they are involved in this. So
yeah.
what are some of the barriers and challenges that you may have faced during um, this course of you impacting them with knowledge regarding climate change, environmental management, and conservation and all whatnot? What are the challenges that you have faced personally?
Yeah, thank you. Of course, it's not something that is easy. When young people reach a certain stage, they want to explore
Hmm.
life. Others want to go into beer drinking. Others want to go smoking. And so, I think the other thing that has really helped this process is we start with those in school. When we start training them well in school, when they graduate, then we see some of these young people now joining in some of our networks now, where we are doing a lot of engagement here and there. But it hasn't been an easy journey, to bring a lot of young people together that are sharing the same vision, where you want to see them participate, be able to engage these our leaders in some of these dialogue platform. But of course, uh, you- there are like different challenges. For example, I can talk about, for us to be able to like engage these young people, you bring them together. Of course, you need certain resources to be able to help bring these young people together as we begin to discuss these things. You need to print out certain materials and stuff like that, so that at least as you continue engaging, these the children, these youths, are able to follow through and keep on participating in some of this decision making. But of course, it's also important that we try to collaborate with other different stakeholders. As much as, of course, on the other end, we don't have resources here and there, but through the collaboration, with different stakeholders, we're able, to find spaces where we can even push in our young people to, participate in certain platforms because of these engagements. Yeah.
So, Mr. Molimba, I would like to know, like, how aware are the youths on their environmental rights? Because you will agree with me that there are a lot of extracting industries that carry out their projects in communities, and by doing so, they are creating another problem by from the extraction that is being carried out in these communities. Like pollution, for example, can be one, and and most of the times the water sources of the community is being contaminated or polluted due to their activities. Like in that case, what are the youth supposed to do? Like, are they aware that okay, that this construction company is causing an environmental problem to their community, and they need to reverse or mitigate or find a way to adapt to the problems that these companies are creating? Like, are they aware of their rights in that case?
No, thank you so much. Yes, when it comes to environmental child rights, I did mention. I think we had a little bit of a discussion where I did mention that we have these trainings where we are training young people on issues of climate change, issues of environmental governance, and the other aspect that is at the center is environmental child rights. So the same way they have their right to education, they also have their right to live in a clean, safe, and healthy environment, which is one of the rights that has been core, especially in most of our advocacy for those that are living, in areas where we have a lot of extractive industries. So we are training these young people to be able to, um, stand and defend the environment and also defend themselves, knowing that when there is a lot of extractive industries, especially the younger children are the most affected because of
Exactly.
their
Yeah.
immune system is very low.
Weak. Yeah.
It's very weak, and they can easily get this contamination, or that happens as a result of extractive activities. But at the same time, it's also good that we conduct these radio programs, because it's not every school that we are working with. They are just
Mm-hmm.
if maybe a number of schools that we are working with. But for us to expand, to reach out to other areas, is through these radio programs, and ones that has helped to spread out the awareness on children's environmental rights, which are very, very, very cardinal, that children are supposed to know. It's also important that we start teaching young children at this age, so that as they can grow up to be very good environmental stewards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the big one, I think. Well said. What do you think can be can be added? Like, I'm talking now. I will digress a little bit into the educational sector. I don't know if the aspect of environmental education is within the curriculum of the pupils, the primary school uh, kids, and also in the secondary schools. I don't know if environmental education is part of the curriculum. I don't know if you can say something about that.
Yeah, I think it's one agenda that
Okay.
it's being pushed. I don't know how far it has gone now, because I've not really checked the progress, but it's one agenda that is being pushed, that environmental education should start at a very lower age, maybe grade one, somewhere there, to see how this knowledge can be imparted in the children, so that, yeah, as they grow up, they are fully aware of what happens in their environment. I think it's one core issue that is very, very important, because looking at the at the pace where things are moving as at now, it's very important that environmental education is also included in the school curriculum, so that we have the children and the young people that are well aware of the the impacts, or the effects of environmental damage that can that can lead to quite a number of issues that can affect the children, the people, as well as um, you know the communities. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that if this aspect of environmental education added to the curriculum at a very early and young stage of
Yeah.
their development, their growth, I think it will really, really help. It will help you in a way that when you come to meet them in their communities, probably at home,
Yeah.
we talk to them about climate change, it shouldn't be something that is new to them. At
Definitely.
least they must have heard it somewhere, and why not, if not from home, but from school at least.
Yeah.
At least they should have an idea. They shouldn't be completely lost, because I think there are some that will be completely lost when talk about climate change. They're like, what's
Yeah.
climate change? Like, I don't understand. Yeah, people are not really versed with that word. So, what strategies can scale up youth-led environmental actions in Africa?
Oh yeah. That's a very good question. It's yeah, looking at Africa
Yeah.
as a whole. Um, I think let me just try and drop it down
Okay. Yeah. To Zambia first, then maybe yeah,
to
I can
Zambia
expand.
first. Then we see how we can
Expand. Yeah.
like generalize
Yeah.
this concept. But I think from my perspective,
Okay.
uh, on the other side, I can say like this time around, I'm very happy, especially in my country, because this year we'll be going into elections, of course,
Okay.
and it's so good to see a lot of young people, vying for these government positions. I think there's been a lot of young people that have come on board. This just shows like the interest now, of young people wanting to be, part of this decision making process. Like it's high time now we have young, energetic young people that will be able to listen to their fellow, young people as they develop these policies. So basically, for me, I feel like uh, we're still quite a long way, but there's been progress. I think there's been a lot of conferences and youth activities happening around the globe, that are, where these young people are participating. But the only challenge, of course, I think it's from the government's perspective. That's why I think in the first place I started talking about, like, for example, in my country where we're seeing a lot of young people. Maybe if we have a lot of young people, in some of these, big positions and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, maybe we'll be able to, see some of these, considerations by the young people being put into practice. So yeah, basically, I think that's what I can say about that.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. Yeah, I think all what you've said is very, very clear. Um, there's progress, and more progress is yet to be made, and we all we just want is just the best to happen, and see how we are moving together with the general voice of every environmental steward out there globally in the world. The earth is our home. We don't have a second home, so it's for us to put in our resources, our minds, and see how we can make this our environment conducive for everyone to live and strive together with it. So yeah, I think it's really, really great
Yeah,
all what you've said.
no,
So I don't
definitely.
know
Like, for example, also I think the other aspect of is through collaboration. For
exactly.
example, like the government cannot do it alone, so
Yeah,
we have
exactly.
like different civil society organizations, within our countries that are really, really pushing this agenda for children and youth participation in some of these decision, making processes, which is, making it easier now for young people to be able to, penetrate in some of these, stakeholder engagement meetings, and they are able to, bring in their views, which has been excellent, especially from the non-governmental and the private sector point of
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Talking about collaboration, the collaboration shouldn't be limited only on our various countries. Like I'm from Cameroon, I should be
view.
able to maybe collaborate with maybe a non-profit or an entity in Zambia. So to have that pan-Africanism, like, because at the end of the day, we are striving for Mother Africa. We are fighting for Mother Africa. We want the education to spread across the continent. So having that collaboration between one country and another is very, very important and vital
Definitely.
for the growth, the development, the good relationship, and all whatnot. So I would say Africa is getting there step by step. We are not going to say tomorrow everything is going to be 500%. It will take time, it will take years,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we are
definitely.
getting there. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank
It's a
you so
pleasure
much. Thank you so
having
much
you.
for having me.
Thank you.